premiers in the NRLW for the second time.
Glorious stroke to bring up a glorious 100.
G'day, great to have you with us on Wide World of Sports. I'm Nick McArdle. Mark Taylor is here. Chloe Dalton is here, and six-time Paralympian Riley Batt is here. Great to see you guys. Geez, we've got a lot to get through. A bit of cricket from the Caribbean.
Yeah, good win for the lads during the week. Yeah, after a rough old start, but a good win in the end.
Indeed. And a bit of news from Chloe Dalton.
It's big news. I won't say too much yet. We've got to hold on.
All right, just a little tease for what's coming up a little bit later. There is so much sport happening around the world. Let's have a look at what's in store on today's edition of Wide World of Sports. On this edition of Wide World of Sports, NRLW is back and Roosters dual premiership winner Jasmine Strange joins us in the studio ahead of the season opener on Thursday. Collingwood hold off a spirited West Coast to secure their 8th win in a row, while pressure mounts on Carlton coach Michael Voss. Jimmy Bartell not far away. Queensland superstar Kalen Ponga ruled out of next week's Origin decider. Who will Billy Slater pick to replace him? The British and Irish Lions kick off their tour of Australia in style against the Western Force. Wallabies veteran Nick White is live from Perth. And Australia win the first test against the West Indies. Brad Blank's on the ground in Barbados to wrap up all the action. Of course he is. He's taken every opportunity to get to Barbados. All that coming your way over the next hour, but we're going to start by heading around the grounds. And it's the NRL first up, and the Dragons. Well, they fought off a spirited Parramatta Eels side, winning 34 points to 20 at a packed WIN stadium in Wollongong. Tubby is very happy about this. After weeks of criticism, Shane Flanagan's men hit back thanks to doubles from winger Nathan Lawson and Maroon star Valentine Holmes. Now, in the later match, the Dolphins heaped some pain on the Rabbitohs with a 50-28 victory. The Hamaso Tabuai Fido scoring 4 tries in his 100th NRL game, and he is pushing his case to be the Maroons' number 1. In tennis, Australia's Maya Joint has won her second WTA title, a 3-set thriller in the final at the Eastbourne Open. Nice little lead-in into Wimbledon. The 19-year-old now turns her attention to the All England Club starting tomorrow on 9 and Stan Sport. Her first round opponent is the 19th seed Ludmila Samsonova. And finally in golf, South Africa's Aldrich Potgieter leads after 3 rounds at the Rocket Classic in Detroit. Now, Minwoo Lee is the best of the Aussies. He's at 12 under, 7 shots off the pace. What a week for the Lee family. Minwoo's sister Minjee winning last week's PGA Women's Championship in the States, the 3rd major of her career, only the 4th Australian to do that. She's pocketed for that $2.8 million. She's just turned 29, so you get the feeling there is a whole lot more to come for Minjee Lee. So what a week for that family. Chloe Dalton, you're from a sporting family. Are they close, those two?
I quite enjoyed seeing... So Minjee's had her win, a couple of glasses of champagne, I reckon. The next day she's been pretty excited, called her brother, probably to check in, wish him a bit of luck. And he was so surprised she was calling, he thought it was a butt dial. Brutal. I mean, they're obviously very, very talented siblings, both living very, very busy careers, but pretty funny to see that they probably don't talk too much on the phone, maybe more through social media these days, I think.
As many people do, indeed. All right, let's talk some cricket in the Caribbean. So the Aussies in the first test, 159-run win. Now, you look at that on paper and you think to yourself, gee, that's a pretty solid win. But is it papering over the cracks just a little bit, given 2 top-order collapses? It was really the bowlers who did the job.
The answer is yes and yes. It is a good win, no doubt about that. Bowlers win your test matches. You need 20 wickets to win a test match, more often than not. And Australia have got an outstanding bowling attack, and we've had that for a long time. Yes, there is some cracks there. Obviously, we're still trying to work out our top order, our top 3, and obviously Steve Smith didn't play in that game also, so we had quite a new top 4. So we've still got to nail down that part of our game. At the moment, our runs in test match cricket are generally coming from 5, 6 and 7. Travis Head was man of the match in that game. Bo Webster made a 60. Alex Carey, who's probably the most sound player in the team bar Steve Smith at the moment, is coming in at number 7. He also made 60 in the second innings. So our runs are coming from the lower order, not so much from our top order.
Yeah, Tubbs, we've got Cameron Green number 3 at the moment, and what I believe is the best batsman on the team should be number 3 or 4. Do you believe Cameron Green should stay at number 3, or should we mix it up?
Oh, no, I think Cameron Green has to stay there for this tour. Steve Smith will more than likely come in I think he's coming back from the US from his broken finger or dislocated finger, so he'll slot back in whenever he's ready, and he'll come back in at 4, I dare say. Australia have got to stick here. They've got Sam Constas, who's come in as the new opener. He's only 19, and as has been widely reported, he's not quite the finished product at the moment, but he's our best young gun. He's got to be given an opportunity here to nail that spot down. And I think the same with Cameron Green now. He's 26 years old. He's played 30 test matches, averages only 33, but has shown us he made 174 last year in a test match and guided Australia to victory. He can do it, but at the moment I think he's a bit nervous. He's pushing hard at the ball because he's had injuries. He's had a checkered career in terms of not being able to play test match after test match and find his slot in the team. But we've got to stick with him because they're the best two of our young guys coming through.
Need to get it right before the Ashes in the Australian summer.
And
Time's running out.
And they've got 2 test matches left to do that.
Yep. All right, see how that goes. We're going to stay in the Caribbean, and well, any spectator will tell you it is one of the great places to travel, so it is not surprising that we find our globetrotting US correspondent, Brad Blanks, right in the head of it.
Brad Blanks here, and it's a different kind of US report this time. It's a West Indian report. I'm here at Kensington Oval in Barbados, one of the most famous cricket grounds in the world. Of course, fond memories for 2007 when Australia won the World Cup on this incredible oval. But right now, I am standing in the party stand, very subdued, but this gets bigger and more exciting as the day progresses, especially over lunch, as you see a couple of hundred Aussies here playing cricket and swimming in the swimming pool. I found a guy here in a baggy green. How are you, sir?
G'day, mate. Colin from Manly.
Now, Colin, break it down. What's it like watching cricket here in the West Indies?
Well, it doesn't get much better when you can sit in the pool. Yeah, good vibes.
Just great fun. You're watching your team out there play as you're just standing in sand.
Yeah, and just watch it. Oh, Starkey nearly get one on the first ball. Would have been nice.
What do I do now? Any advice for me now?
Get in the pool.
Yeah.
I've seen people in there for freaking 10 beers and they haven't left.
All right, thanks.
Keep your head above water.
Yeah, thanks, Col. Yeah, smart move. And you're saying this was an accident that you're dressed as this?
It started as a bit of a joke in 205, and he's gone to a couple of World Cups and a couple of Test matches in that time for sure.
And you're trying not to get attention?
I don't like attention, no. So I've got the head goes down, you see.
Right, gotcha.
It better not be going on TV.
No, exactly. No, it's not, mate. It's not.
Edge and drop again. How many of those have we seen in the test match?
Keep waiting, very good. I get it over. Keep pushing.
People are just laying around, having a good time, a few drinks, watching cricket from a swimming pool. The ground's like 30 feet away, right here.
So how good is this?
Yep.
Where else can you get in the pool in the cricket?
You're right, and you're watching wickets fall for West Indies. Aussies are on top.
Into the hands of short leg. There is the wicket. And the Australians, they've dominated.
What a day at the cricket here at Kensington Oval. A madness. Kensington Oval going off. Party stand has been very active, and there's still people in the pool. Brad Blanks signing off. Just wild and happy people here at the cricket.
The expectation coming in of the goal-scoring heroics in the A-League, maybe more to add. Rato, the shot, the finish, oh well, it's delightful. That is a superb finish from Hayley Rato, almost making it look too easy, cruising on into goal, and more or less passed it into the back of the net. That is just lovely.
That's a really nice start for the Matildas under their new coach, Joe Montemurro, against Slovenia, 3-0 in Perth on Thursday night. Joe described that Chloe is the perfect game. Doesn't leave a lot of room for him to move after that.
It's a big statement, and I think he only had 3 training sessions with the team before his first game with them. But he's a bit of a serial winner. He's had success with Melbourne City, with Arsenal, with Juventus. He knows what he's doing, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with this team in the lead up to the Asian Cup in 2026 on home soil.
A lot of upside for the Matildas. Let's push a couple of quick singles right now. We're going to get started with Riley Batt. And Riley, Well, Ronaldo got a new deal. What a deal.
Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, a 2-year extension with Al Nassr. Get this, guys, on top of his eye-watering $746 million deal, what I can't believe he gets, he's also getting 15% ownership of the club, £80,000 per goal and £40,000 per assist. That's Tubbs kind of money in cricket.
I'd settle for half.
I think he's also had a private jet and everything else.
Unbelievable.
There are 4 Aussies who've been picked up in the NBA draft in a crazy 10-pick window. So Rocco Zikarsky was taken pick 45 by the Timberwolves. He stands at 220 centimetres tall. Tyrese Proctor has gone to Cleveland at pick 49. Alex Tui to Golden State at pick 52. And we've got Lachlan Olbrich going to Chicago at pick 55. It's the most Aussie names we've had in a single draft since 1997, so some awesome young talent coming through for Australia.
Yeah, and a new look for the Maroons at fullback, I dare say, for game number 3. Some bad news for them. Kalen Ponga there, injuring a right foot during their loss to the Raiders the other night. Didn't look all that serious at the time, but it's going to rule him out for quite a bit of the season, if I understand. So some decisions for our own Billy Slater to make about who's going to replace Kalen at fullback. Maybe Reece Walsh, maybe the Hammer, who had a big game last night.
4 tries.
And we've got teenage sprint sensation, Gout, the teenage Aussie superstar at the moment, running at 20.2 in his first international meet. And now he's got his eyes set on the world champs in September. So look out, Gout coming after Usain Bolt.
Surged home, didn't he? Surged home. And the big news around Chloe Dalton, who touched on this at the start of the show. At the ripe old age of 31, she retires. And surprises us all, Chloe. Congratulations on a marvellous career in what? Basketball, rugby sevens, AFLW. But why, at the age of 31, are we not going to see you continue to play something like you've got the whites on today? I thought maybe cricket could be your next port of call.
Hinting at the 4th sporting career in the cricket whites. Yeah, it was a pretty tough decision. I had my second back surgery about 9 or 10 months ago, and my body just didn't bounce back in the way that I would have hoped. Pretty stiff in the old back these days, trying to bend over. So the thought of picking up a ground ball playing footy is probably not where I'm at anymore. So pretty tough decision after about 14 years of professional sport to call time.
Amazing. There you are with the rugby sevens girls, and obviously you throw in an Olympics. I mean, what were the highlights? Surely an Olympic gold medal has to be right up there, doesn't it?
It's pretty tough to go past Rio 2016. I look back to being a 7-year-old little kid who watched Kathy Freeman at the Sydney 2000 Olympics, and I decided I wanted to win my very own Olympic gold medal. So to stand on an Olympic podium, to think about that little girl who wanted to do it, to stand alongside my teammates, that moment, being lifted up into the stands with all my favourite people in the world, celebrating that moment with them and my teammates, it's just something that will be etched in my memory forever, and it just brought me and so many other people just so much joy. It was really special.
And Chloe, you've obviously been a sporting superstar for so many years in so many different sports. What are you going to do now that you're retired?
It's a great question. It feels a little bit unnerving, I think, kind of moving into this new season. But throughout my time of my playing career, I was able to build a platform called the Female Athlete Project, which is all about women's sport. We've seen the huge rise of women's sport in that space, and just creating content in that area. So hopefully just continue to grow that platform and be a mum to my little boy Fred as well.
It's so nice that you have got that and you've built that, because so many people, you know so many I'm sure, who get to the end of their careers and it's like, what now? And they really struggle in so many facets of their lives. Do you really feel like you've got that to lean on now, and that makes the transition easier?
Yeah, I'm so thankful that I was able to build that throughout my career, and that I've been able to do things like Wide World of Sports as well, you know what I mean? It's not now this point where I feel completely lost. There's still a sense of fear and uncertainty, because for so long, as you know, Tubbs and Riley, you're so structured and scheduled, and you have someone telling you where to be and when. So it's a weird feeling, but I am so incredibly thankful that I know where I'm going. I just have to work out what it actually looks like.
I need to take a leaf out of her book and learn how to retire and just accept it. I'm super proud of your decision.
Thanks, Riley. I appreciate it.
I might sit down and have a chat to you after this.
We'll have coffee.
You've got a while to go, so don't call too early. So with that in mind, the fact that you have become such a voice within in women's sport, an advocate for women playing sport. I'm interested to know what you make of this. And this is in Switzerland. The national women's football team playing an under-15 boys team from the Swiss Super League. And the boys won 7-0. Now, that's been picked up and thrashed in the media. You know, it's been hailed as proof that, you know, women aren't as strong as men, aren't as strong as boys. What do you make of all of that?
Yeah, I get pretty frustrated by these stories, to be honest, because I think if they are playing against an under-15 boys team, which they did a couple of weeks earlier, and beat that under-15 boys team, it's not a news story. And I think that's the whole idea with this for me, is that this is a high-performance preparation for this team. I think they rolled through 28 players, the women's team, in 90 minutes. So they were obviously testing different combinations and things. But people then kind of grab onto this story and just run with it and use it as this argument of, oh, women try and say that they're better than men in sport. And we're not out there doing that as women athletes. We're just out there doing the best as high-performance athletes, trying to prove ourselves as its own product. I think quite often we kind of get caught up in this comparison between men's and women's sport. I don't want to go out and play in the men's AFL competition. I want to play AFLW. And so I think it's a really important distinction to make, that women's sport can be respected and celebrated on its own without having to be pitted against the men, which often this is what these stories reinforce.
Exactly right. We're going to talk some more women's sport right now. NRLW is on its way. It is back, 6 games every week right here on 9, and 9 Now starts Thursday.
What a pass! And they score! Throws the dummy and the Cowboys score! Oh, big hit, Biddle.
What a tackle, Lutu.
Now Costa puts it in an early kick, and there's the try! Tonegano chimes in and throws the dummy back inside for Dodd! That is spectacular! Flying through the air for one of the tries of the year! Footwork from Masanga, and she's over! Koenig, and the Dalian medalist, through and out the other side. Oh, this is extraordinary! Let the new NRLW season commence.
Yeah, it's almost here. Starts Thursday, and one of the stars we will be looking out for this year is Jasmine Strange, and she joins us on WWOS. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Terrific to have you here. Different for you this year because the Roosters, defending champions, you're the hunted now. How does that change things for the Roosters this year?
I think we always go in as the favourites for some reason. So, yeah, Broncos are pretty stacked this year as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how all the teams pile up.
It's already been a really exciting year with the Origin series, up the Blues. I was very stoked with the Blues win. What are you most looking forward to about the season?
Me personally, just trying out a new position is going to be a bit of a challenge. But, yeah, hopefully we can just build off of last year and have another crack.
Now, Jasmine, talk about that win for the Blues. Your dad, John, is the coach of that side and also coaches you at club level. How does that go down? Because I can't imagine coaching my daughter because she doesn't listen to me at all. So how does that go down? Do you listen to your old man or not?
I try to. I can't lie to you. It's a bit tricky sometimes, but he does a really good job of differentiating when he's talking to me as a coach and when he's talking to me as a dad. You know, we don't have too much footy chat outside of training and things like that, but, yeah, he can be a little bit strict on me sometimes at training. We have a few back and forth sometimes, but nothing too bad.
So you listen to him out on the football field?
Not
but anywhere near home, that's it.
That's it. No, I do sometimes. Depends what he's, depends what he's saying.
I've got to take my daughter to a footy field to have a chat with her. OK, thank you for that. Thanks.
Yeah, Jasmine, your dad is a Maori, your mum is English, and you play for Australia. But you've said you want to play for the Lioness. What's made that decision?
Well, I haven't actually committed to any team yet. You know, there's just been a bit of chat after. I did actually nominate myself to play for England before they went to Vegas and versed Australia. But, yeah, we'll have some more chats about where I go because obviously I qualify for New Zealand and England. So, yeah, we'll just see what happens there.
So, Jasmine, give us some insight. So, every season there's a new name, a new face comes through and a new superstar. Who's someone sneaky good that we should be looking out for?
Sneaky good? Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think there's a few of the girls that are around my age that have gone from being the young girls in the squads and in the teams that have taken a lot of ownership this year and are probably going to be rising. So I reckon, yeah, have a look at some of the girls that have been there, but they might just step above this year.
Looking at Magic Round in August, it's the first time NRLW's had a Magic Round. I'm excited. I'm heading to Newcastle for it. What do you think that's going to do for the game?
I think it's going to be awesome. I think that the way that Newcastle gets around the game as a whole, and especially the girls team, you know, I played for Newcastle and just the crowd support is unreal there. So I think that definitely NRL has done a great job of putting Magic Round in Newcastle and hopefully they get behind us.
Big week coming up for you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Jasmine Strange with us on Wide World of Sports. Yes, it certainly is a big week. So it all starts on Thursday. NRLW for 2025. You will see it live and free Thursday, July 3rd. There is so much to look forward to in NRLW and still so much to look forward to coming your way right here on Wide World of Sports.
The pressure continues to build on Carlton coach Michael Voss. The Blues thumped again, this time by Port Adelaide. Jimmy Bartell joins us next. The British and Irish Lions tour of Australia kicks off at Optus Stadium. The Western Force skipper last night, Nick White, is live from Perth. And who are our best chances at Wimbledon this year? Our preview of the grandest Grand Slam not too far away.
Thanks for staying with us. Time to take a look at the latest in the AFL. Hawthorn merciless in their clash with North Melbourne in Launceston, booting 23 goals to 12. The 85-point win is the Hawks' third in a row and ninth successive in Launceston. Veteran Jack Gossson kicked a career-high 7 goals and Mabior Chol booted 5 to put the Hawks back into the top 4. Now, Collingwood, they survived a scare from West Coast at Marvel Stadium. The Eagles led at both quarter-time and half-time, much to the surprise of the home crowd, no doubt, before the Pies were able to wrestle back the lead and then stamp their authority in that final term. So, let's have a look at the ladder. The 29-point win there sees Collingwood sitting 10 points clear at the top of the ladder, ahead of last year's premiers, the Brisbane Lions, while the Eagles, well, they are the cellar dwellers right now, just one win from 15 games. The West Coast Eagles, as we say. A very good morning to Jimmy Bartell joining us from Melbourne. Jimmy, good morning to you. Collingwood, yeah, a little bit of a wobble there. The Eagles took it to them, but gee, Collingwood, who's going to beat them?
Yeah, morning, Nick, and yeah, a wobble and you still win by 29 points. And well done to West Coast. I think we have to tip our cap to the Eagles. They took it up to Collingwood. They're pretty energetic around the contest and they forced Collingwood to handball the ball a lot. And I know in the post-match, the coach Craig McRae and even the legend Scott Pendlebury said, look, we tried to play with a little bit too much flair, a little bit too much Hollywood and Globetrotter style. That was their words. And once they started to take the contest on, they put this young Eagles side under a lot of pressure. And the highlights start to show that they started to kick the ball a lot longer. They didn't overuse the footy, which can be a bit of a trap when you know you're the better side, the more mature side. And it was just the class golf towards the end. And I guess the depth across the field and the experience, and just highlighted there by Scott Pendlebury stepping his way through a bit of traffic and finishing off with all class.
Yeah, and Jimmy, we saw Hawthorn absolutely hammer North Melbourne by 85 points in Launceston, with veteran Jack Gunston kicking a career-best 7 goals.
Yeah, they were pretty ruthless from the start. And Nick Watson, the little wizard there, he was on fire early. And this is what you want from sides who've got ambitions to be a top 4 side compared to a side that's still trying to work their way back into relevancy really in the competition. North Melbourne's been really good over the last 6 weeks. Probably could have had a couple more wins, but this was disappointing from North. Hawthorn didn't allow them to get anything going in the game. You mentioned Jack Gunston, the veteran there, over 270 games, kicked 7 goals. Mabior Chol, 5 goals. They were just at their absolute peak there, the Hawks.
And Jimmy, in yesterday's game, the Gold Coast too good for Melbourne. They snapped their 3-game losing streak. What do you make of the Gold Coast?
Gold Coast should play finals, and I think that's the expectation, Tub. They've still got a game in hand. Remember, we've got an extra game to play towards in the last round because we missed that one because of the cyclone with Essendon. So you always got to keep factoring Gold Coast got another game in hand. Love their start. They didn't give Melbourne a chance at all. Melbourne had a couple of injuries, but they were ruthless from the start. But full credit to the D's. They boxed on. Cozzy Pickett was excellent, 25 and 3. And Jake Melksham, speaking of veterans, wound back the clock. 5 goals, 6. He could have had an absolute field day, but well done to the Suns. They're going to be tough to beat at home.
Jimmy, Carlton had an absolute shocker against Port Adelaide, going down by 50. At what point is Michael Voss in serious trouble?
Well, before I get to that, well done to you, Chloe, on a magnificent career across multiple sports. You've been an absolute star. To the Blues, the Blues are always under the pressure. They're one of the big clubs. If they don't win, the heat comes, and the heat's been coming for Michael Voss. It's more the manner that they played this game. The first quarter was shocking. They were so far off their direct opponents. They didn't put any tackling pressure on, and that's the real worrying thing for Michael Voss and all the Carlton staff there in the football department. Is after their loss last week against North Melbourne, you thought this is going to be a fired-up Carlton side. They're going to take it to Port Adelaide. They're going to match them in the contest, but their ball use again was horrible. Port Adelaide were too slick across the ground, and the heat continues on Michael Voss. I think they'll wait till the end of the season, though, before they do anything there.
Jimmy, on Friday night at the SCG, my Swans went down by 9 to the Bulldogs, which I don't like. The other thing I didn't like is we couldn't kick goal from a set shot. What's going on there?
Well, first, let's talk about the ground. If you have a look, it's North Bondi Beach at that end. That is an absolute disgrace, the SCG, Tubby. I know you're the most powerful man in all of New South Wales in the SCG. What in God's name is that at that end? That was actually lucky no player did their knee in that. The Swans, much better side with Papley and Goulden back in there. I felt for Dean Cox throughout the year. All his stars have been missing. But that was a cracking game of football. Lots of goals, high scoring. All the good players played well. Now for the Swans, look, there'll be a lot of trouble for a lot of sides coming in, but just a bit too far outside the 8.
Jimmy, thanks for joining us.
No worries, guys.
Another great weekend of footy. We're in the middle of it. Now, a little change up right here on Wide World of Sports from AFL to gymnastics, and one of our Olympic superstars joining us right now on the show, Ruby Pass, who made her debut in Paris at the age of 17. Ruby, thanks very much for joining us. Great to see you. What was that like? How did it change your life to be an Olympian at the age of 17 and to do so well?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It was definitely a crazy experience. I mean, it was my goal since I was about 6 years old. So to make that dream come true, it was pretty life-changing. But now I've had a bit of time off, so now getting back into it, I'm a bit nervous, but my first coming up very soon.
And Ruby, still reflecting on Paris, you were the youngest Aussie to feature in an all-round final since 2012. Has the weight of what you achieved actually sunk in?
Not really. At first, I didn't really realise that I was the youngest person, but I think it's such an achievement and I'm so proud of myself. But next Olympic cycle, hopefully, I'm planning on doing it a little better. I know I can achieve a lot more, so yeah.
And Ruby, you got to compete against the absolute megastar, Simone Biles. How was it being in the same venue as her? Was there a bit of an aura around?
Yes, definitely. It was crazy. So I've competed against her at World Championships, but there's different divisions. So I've never competed in the same arena as her. But in the finals, I was actually in the arena with her, which was so crazy. I could hear my eardrums like rumbling. It was insane.
Ruby, you talked about you've got a big competition coming up. You've got nationals coming up on Thursday. Who are the athletes we should keep an eye on?
I think all the Olympic athletes, definitely like Brianna Scott, Georgia Godwin coming back from injury, which I'm so excited to see her again. I'm so excited to see her get back out there and compete. Yeah.
Hey, Ruby, just quickly, before we let you go, so you're right in this sweet spot now. Obviously, LA kind of feels just around the corner, but the expectation of maybe making it through to a home Olympics in Brisbane, what does that do for you and the drive to train harder and be there when the Olympics come around in Brizzy?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I actually said 1 Olympics and I'm done. But now after 1 Olympics, I'm like, absolutely no way, I'm not stopping now. A home games would be incredible. I mean, it's in my home city, so that would be amazing. And with a home crowd, I just think it'd be a dream come true.
Yeah, it really would be. We're going to keep our eye on you, Ruby. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. And as Ruby mentioned, the Australian Gymnastics Championships will take place across 2 weekends on the Gold Coast, beginning on Thursday. 1,600 athletes from across the country coming together, including a host of our 2024 Olympic team competing nationally for the first time since Paris. To secure your tickets, head to australiangymnasticschamps.com.au/tickets. Stay with us. More Wide World of Sports to come.
Western Force skipper Nick White joins us live from Perth following the clash against the British and Irish Lions last night. 46,000 at Optus for the tour opener. The International Cricket Council has unveiled its list of new rules for the game. Tubby has his say on the changes. Are they a hit or are they a miss? And 3-time Paralympian Jared Gossons isn't one to shy away from a challenge, and he's live in the studio to tell us all about his next incredible feat. Stay with us. Back soon.
Morning on Wide World of Sports. The British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia has kicked off with a bang. They've taken down the Western Force in front of 46,000 fans at Optus Stadium. That is a record crowd for the Force. Tight too for much of the first half, with the Force dominating territory and possession early on before the tourists kicked into gear, and they really dominated the second half. They scored 5 tries in the second 40 to win 54 points to 7. They were extremely impressive. Joe McCarthy was the man of the match, going over for a try there. The Lions, they now head to Brisbane for the game against the Reds on Wednesday before matches against the Waratahs and the Brumbies, while the Wallabies are in Newcastle getting set for the test against Fiji next Sunday. All the test matches on 9 and 9 now, and the only place to see it all, every match of the British and Irish Lions Tour, is on Stan Sport. And pleased to say we can welcome Nick White to the show this morning. He captained the Western Force last night against the Lions. Whitey, good to see you. I think you said in the post-match interview last night that that scoreline didn't really reflect the nature of the game. The Force absolutely took it to the Lions. You must be pleased.
Yeah, super pleased with the boys. Yeah, we went out there with a mindset of just go after them, and we'll deal with the next minute when we get to it. And for the first 40 minutes, we really mashed it with them. And unfortunately, that took a bit of a toll on us, and we fell off a bit of a cliff there. And they showed their class to be able to stay at that intensity. Being 4 international sides in one, and the best of the North, you'd expect that. But for that first 40, 50 minutes, we really stuck it to them. And we were a little bit disappointed, I guess, not to take away some points in that first half, and because we created a lot of opportunities, and we kind of gifted them a try through a quick tap. But all in all, super proud of the guys. We really emptied the tank and went after them, and hopefully gave Joe a few good pitches to have a look at them.
And Nick, you were one of 6 Wallabies who were released for that game. How do you approach a game like that, where in the back of your mind, I'm sure you're thinking about test matches later in the winter, but there's obviously a game to play for the Western Force, even though there's no points up for grab from your point of view?
Yeah, mate, it's a once in a 12-year opportunity. So it was all about this game on the weekend and getting stuck into them and enjoying it, enjoying the whole week. This is a huge event for not only the whole rugby world, but to be able to don the jersey to play against the Lions is a huge opportunity. For the 6 of us, it was all about just getting out there. And look, there's the added bonus of being able to get a feel for them. I go into camp today, fly out, and maybe able to pass on a few things I saw and felt out on the field, a few calls I may have heard, and there's that as well. But look, mate, all week it was just about the opportunity to play against the Lions, and last night lived up to that. The intensity of the game, it lived up to it. 46,000 at Optus. Mate, it was really enjoyable. I must admit, there were some times in the games where, they've scored some tries and, your heads could be down, but it was all about, look, let's just enjoy this, get back, fire some shots, and some shots we fired.
Nick, you talk about 46,000 fans. It looked to me like a lot of them were supporting the Lions. How did you go with all that? Just enjoy the moment?
Yeah, mate, all week. The Sea of Red, as they call them, the British and Irish fans, they're unreal. They've flooded Perth. They've been around all the bars and cafes, and they're lovely people. And yeah, look, it was loud out there. A lot of Lions calls, but that's the that's what they bring, right? And that's what made last night so special. But there were plenty of sea of blue there as well, and yeah, that's what we're going to get over the next few weeks. Like if that's just a taste of what's to come with the Test series, then this is going to be an unreal event.
Yeah, it will be, no doubt about that. Whitey, good luck. You've got Fiji potentially in a gold jersey next Sunday, and then, of course, the 3 tests against the British and Irish Lions. All the best to you for what's to come over the next few weeks.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, back up home to Newcastle.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy that. Nick White joining us on Wide Water Sports. So from Whitey, we go to Chloe and Riley with a very special guest.
We are joined by a very, very special guest in studio, Jared Gosson's 3-time Paralympian. Jared, you're about to take on a huge challenge. You're going to swim Manhattan Island and the English Channel in 1 month. How on earth did you come to that decision?
Yeah, good question. I think for me, my entire life has been about the actual opportunity, and you know, the 50-kilometre swim around Manhattan Island was obviously a goal of mine, and then to back it up with the English Channel became an opportunity, obviously with a slot available. It's not an easy slot to get on the English Channel, so for me it's back-to-back, and obviously once that's over, then it's to focus on like Riley, on the 2028 Paralympic Games in Los Angeles.
Jared, you were born with a vision impaired, I guess, but it hasn't stopped you in life from doing absolutely anything. You've climbed Mount Everest, you've been to 3 Paralympic Games with 3 different sports. Nothing has stopped you, but you have a big test in front of you. How are you and the team preparing for this?
Oh, look, I think for me it's... I suppose what's A, fantastic about the actual challenge, but B is the I suppose the difference is that as a person or as an athlete who's totally blind, I've never seen the Australian flag. I've never seen the emblem on the cricketer's hats. I've never seen a green and gold tracksuit. As an Australian, I'm a very proud Australian, and I don't need to see those things to believe in Australia. And I think for me, as an athlete, and I'll never see Manhattan Island. In actual fact, I'll never see the other side of the English Channel. But for me, it's that I suppose drive as an Australian to get to the other side, and to be the first Australian, and definitely to beat the Poms, is a great thing. And I think for me as an athlete, look, there are the facts of life where things, you know, can and will go astray. And as my life as both as a sports athlete representing my country and being a chocolatier, you know, for me those are the major dreams in my life.
Well, we can see you're an absolute superstar in the sporting world, and you have such a positive mindset in life. And you've also passed that on to your daughter, Taylor. She actually went to Paris for para-judo, I believe. How was that for you, watching her compete in Paris?
I think for me it was a proud moment as a father, as well as obviously an Australian, to have, you know, the first ever, I suppose, father and daughter competing for and representing their country, and now to move on, and for me to move back to my former love of climbing and aiming at the 2028 Los Angeles Games in para-climbing, as well as my daughter. So hopefully again we'll meet again, obviously on the grounds of Los Angeles at the 2028 Paralympic Games. And
Jared, what do your next couple of weeks look like before you head on over to New York?
We head across on Friday to New York. It's about the acclimatisation in the actual water. New York's going through a bit of a heat wave at the moment, which I'm going, yes! And then obviously to move from there to obviously the English Channel. The English Channel at the moment is pretty cold. You start to question your sexuality by the end of it, because it's about 15.7 degrees at the moment. So it's pretty cool and calming. But for me, I suppose as a chocolatier, you know, for me it's that ultimate dream. And I think for me, I know that Channel 9 do a great amount of work, and so Chloe, we have what's coming up, which is called the gold logie, but I've invented what is even better than the gold logie. It's called the chogie.
Amazing.
So I have a presentation for Channel 9.
Thank you so much.
Which is
Look at
the
that.
ultimate premium chogie. And
love that.
Along with that, obviously, we can celebrate. Now, obviously, within champagne itself, you have your bubbles, but champagne and chocolate don't necessarily mix well together. So I came up, being wild world of sports, I came up with a better idea. So I like to open up and crack open the champagne bottle to obviously celebrate Channel 9 winning the ultimate chogie in life, and the first ever chogie. But Riley, I know for me, obviously, as a Paralympic athlete, we have I suppose, a big road ahead towards 2028, and I know that journey is pretty awesome.
Oh, absolutely, mate. We can see it on Channel 9, and we watch the Paralympic Games at home. And, mate, I'm just honoured to have you here today, and, look, sharing this amazing chocolate with us.
So we have a range of
chocolate golf balls.
Yep.
Look at that.
So you're always on the ball at Wild World of Sports. And being a chocolatier, obviously, my dream is about pure and passion. And I know as an athlete, for me, as I said, never seen the Australian flag, it doesn't really matter. And as I know, when obviously Mark was representing Australia in cricket, you know, we can obviously fly under the banner and the emblem, but for me, it's that belief and a sense of belief and the whole passion of representing a country.
Well, Jared, Chloe's just announced her retirement and she's got a whole champagne bottle of chocolate right there. So, Chloe, enjoy your retirement with all that chocolate.
I absolutely will. And Jared, best of luck to you. We're going to be cheering you on from Wide World of Sports.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Throwing back to Nick.
Good on you, Chloe. Good on you, Riley. And thank you, Jared. It's terrific that Chloe is a very good sharer, and we expect to see some of that chocolate at some stage. Now, just before we head to a break, ICC announced this week that there's going to be some law tweaks, rule changes. I don't think we've got time to go through all of them. What grabs your attention
Stop
there?
clock, 60 seconds between the end of the over and the start of the next one. That's in Test cricket now as well. So bowlers have got to get ready and batsmen have got to get ready. There's going to be a 5-run penalty.
A bit like baseball.
Yeah, I like it. I like that to try and speed up play. Number of balls per one-day innings. They use 2 at the moment at the start, and they're going to continue to do that for the first 34 overs. But then the last 16, the fielding side says, we're going to use this one to finish with. So the last 16 overs, just 1 ball.
The other one there, and it frustrates the hell out of cricket fans, the DRS, when they say, no, sorry, it's half the ball is on the outside of the... So there's a tweak to that as well.
They're now making the stumps the outside of the stump. So when they do a DRS and they put that line around the stumps, they're now going to use the outside of the stumps, which is going to be probably going to see a few more LBWs because of that. It used to be the middle of the stumps and the middle of the bails. Now, I think you're still going to see, what do they call it, umpires call and what have you. So there's still going to be a little bit of frustration, but there's a little bit more margin of error now for the bowlers. So I think you're going to see a few more LBWs.
All right, look out for that in cricket coming your way. Short break, back soon.
Feeling the pressure now. This is when your mind can play games.
Quiet, please.
But this is Wimbledon.
Yeah, cannot wait. Grand Slam tennis back on the screens of 9, and we're at Wimbledon, the championships. Catch a host of Aussies, including world number 11 Alex de Minaur and world number 16 Daria Kasatkina tomorrow from 7:30 Eastern. You can watch it all on the screens of 9 now in Stan Sport. That's the order of play on 9 tomorrow. So Kim Birrell, the Aussie, Alexei Popyrin in action as well. What a year he is having. Paula Badosa, the Spaniard, against the hometown hero Katie Boulter. And then Talia Gibson, one of the young Aussies, making a charge. Hopefully tough ask, though, first up against Naomi Osaka. Our biggest contingent at Wimbledon since 1995. 7 women, and 10 men. One of the big stories, Priscilla Han, on her 7th attempt, so she's tried all these years to get through qualifying, finally makes her Wimbledon debut, age 27.
It's a huge achievement. Like, I love that perseverance to get there. And she actually had to save 5 match points in order to do so at qualifiers at Roehampton. So really, really keen to see how she goes and hope she has a good crack.
Indeed. So, yeah, I can't believe that. Since 1995, our biggest contingent. So 7 women and 10 men. Let's get to the takeaway, shall we? And we're going to start with Riley Batt.
Yeah, I've got the comedian, the funny guy, Adam Hills. Adam Hills has won the world and European. It's called the para standing tennis title. He's now got a championship. What's absolutely incredible. I know he's an advocate for this new sport of para standing tennis. He's an ambassador for it, and he's won a championship for his own, I guess, ambassadorship.
It's very, very good.
And Fran Handel is about to become the fastest woman to run across Australia. 3,800 kilometres from Perth to Sydney. She's finishing today. She's got her last 5 kilometres. She's about to finish at Observatory Hill. She's going to be joined by a huge number of people. Obviously, we saw Ned Brockman doing this feat a couple of years ago, and I cannot imagine waking up every morning and having to go again. Just thousands and thousands of kilometres. It's an incredible achievement, and she's raising funds for domestic violence as well, which is amazing.
Well, the thing that caught my eye, I was also an athlete, and it caught the eye of a number of people, I think, during the week, was 4 metre hurdler runner Chris Robinson from America won his final in the Czech Republic. Had a wardrobe malfunction along the way, but even though he had concerns about his performance, he still ran only 1/10 of a second behind his personal best time. So that, my friend, is an outstanding performance.
That was the most considered I have ever seen you speaking, Tubby.
Might have set a world record if he didn't get so much wind drag there, Tubbs, I reckon.
Well, I said 1/10 off his PB.
To focus on the pure athletic performance of that was very disciplined.
It was. The other thing that was interesting about it was the way he finished. Because not only did he sort of stumble over the line, he then decided, even though he's had all this trouble with his outfit for the day, he then does a somersault to finish off with. So, yeah, that's a performance.
I definitely think an underwear brand might get after him and he might be an ambassador soon.
Well, he needs to wear some, at least. We're going to get to a break. Don't know what to say. See you soon. Thanks for staying with us. It's Beanies for Brain Cancer Round, the Mark Hughes Foundation, and this is a cause that is very close to our hearts here at 9, and you can grab your beanie at IGA, Woolies and at Lowe's. And if you're heading to the game today, the Titans at the Cowboys, that's the feature game on Sunday here at 9. You can pick yours up at the game. Mark Taylor, I'm not sure that purple is your colour.
I'm not sure that the beanies in general are my look, and I'm not sure I've got a look, to be totally honest. But MND a couple of weeks ago for me now, and Beanie for Brain Cancer, two great causes. So well done to Mark Hughes, the late Matt Callender, for what they've done. Was it $30 million? Well done.
Amazing.
Happy to wear a beanie under those circumstances.
Exactly right. Great to see you. Great to see you too. Congratulations on an outstanding career.
Thanks.
Riley, we'll see you soon. And we'll see you soon next week, perhaps, right here on 9's Wimbledon Sports.